Hi guys, my name's Ed from Bobil Vans and welcome to our campervan Wilson. We're going to talk today about the Bobil Vans water heating system. I'll talk you through the system. The first thing I'm going to do is just turn on my diesel heater, because that takes a couple of minutes to warm up. The principle of this system is that we're going to use the hot air from the diesel heater to heat water. Typically the heaters will run at about 3.5 kilowatts, and with this system you can get up to about 2 kilowatts of water heating, meaning you can heat a full tank of water, all 12 litres, to about 40 degrees in about 15 minutes. With this system, it's comprised of a 12 litre water tank, a pump, some heat exchangers, and then some electronics which turns it on and off whenever it needs to turn on and off. So the first thing we're going to do here, we'll take this off. We've just got a fitting here. We'll turn that. That allows us to fill our tank just from our tank's main water underneath. 12 litres is quite a lot. That's probably enough for 2 showers. And what I've done here is I've insulated the tank just with some Celotex, so that'll stay nice and hot overnight. My electronics here, this one is going to monitor the temperature of the air coming in. So what this is going to do is turn the system on when it detects that the heater's come on. What my bottom sensor is going to do is turn the pump off when the water gets to the right temperature. So if you want to have your shower at 45 degrees, you can set this to 45 and your water won't get any hotter than that at any point. Makes it nice and safe as well. So I can see that my tank is coming up to the top. I've got my level gauge on here as well, so I can use this. Here's my fill point right at the top, so we're almost there. Wait for this to get up there, and I've got my temperature sensor here as well, so I can give you an independent temperature reading. There we go. You can see that right at the full gauge, and my water temperature now is, it's quite chilly because it's March, 15.3 degrees, if you can see that, so nice and cold. I've just heard that the heater is starting to tick, which means I'm getting some fuel in. This is the biggest of the 3 heat exchangers options that we have, which is the 120 and the 80. You can also buy these individually, but we want this to be as fast as possible, which is why we've got both of them in. So let's look at our system in more detail. I've put in a switch here so I can override the system. That allows me to turn the water heater off and just use this for air heating. This is reading the temperature of the incoming air. There's a thermocouple here which is detecting the temperature just of this plastic. So as my diesel heater starts to warm up, this is going to detect that and it's going to turn the system on. I've set the incoming air temperature to 35. I can set that to whatever I want. If I'm running this in the summer, I may want it a little higher, but that just means that this system works independently of the diesel heater. I can set the diesel heater to come on and off at certain times, and I know that my hot water system will work at the same time without me having to get involved. I've put a temperature sensor here, which is detecting the temperature of the air coming out of this heat exchanger. You can see that that's running at the moment 51-52 degrees. Typically the air coming in on this side when the heater's running on full will be somewhere north of 110-120 degrees. But we'll see the effect of the heat exchangers running once the system kicks in. So air temperature 34 degrees, approaching my set point of 35. Once it gets to 35, we'll see that this red light will come on and it'll turn on the bottom controller. Here we go. This is now detecting the temperature of the water, 19 degrees. What it's now done is, because it's below my set point of 50 degrees, it's started the pump running, which you might just be able to hear. And you can see that because the air is circulating through my heat exchangers, the air temperature is now plummeting. This went up to about close to 60 degrees. It's now coming down 40, 39, 38, and this will end up around maybe 10 degrees higher than my water temperature. The system works by taking cool water into our pump pumping it into the first heat exchanger, out of this tube into our second heat exchanger, and from here back through this tube back into our tank. The air comes in from this side, from our diesel heater, through the heat exchangers, out here. Usually we have a piece of ducting here, but we've removed it just to show the system a little more clear. I can set my temperature here. If I press my set point, you can see that I can just alter this. So if, for example, I wanted my water to be, let's say, 25 degrees, if I set this down to 25, there we go, just wait for that to stop flashing. There we are. What that means is that when the water gets to 25 and there's a thermocouple just in the bottom of this tank, it means it'll turn the pump off and my water will never go above that temperature. What we recommend is that if you're using this for showers, you set it to your shower temperature and then use it directly from the tank rather than trying to mix it. It just means it'll just be a bit more efficient. You can see now 24.8. Just go above that. You can see that this is now clicked off. My pump has stopped. There's a little bit of an overshoot, but it won't actually heat any more than that. You'll see now that this temperature will start to come up because the water stopped circulating within the heat exchangers. So you can see this 45, 46. So now I've gone back to using the system as an air heater. Obviously I don't want my water to be 25. I want this to be hotter, so I'm going to set this back to, say, 40. There we are, you can see 55, 54, this will start to come back down and my air temperature has come back down to close to ambient. So let's talk in a bit more detail about how we get the water in and out of the tank. We use throughout our van standard 15mm push fit tubing. We then fitted a bulkhead connector to the top of the tank, which is available from Toolstation for about £2.50. That allows us just to connect it straight to our water, and all we do to fill it, we turn this nozzle and the tank fills up. We put a level gauge on the outside. We had to do this because we've insulated our tank so we can't actually see the level inside. All that is an extra bulkhead fitting and a piece of tubing. And then we just mark on the position when it's full. To get the water out, we have an extra bulkhead fitting here with a piece of tube and another pump down here which is controlled by a switch underneath our sink. We then have an extra piece of silicone tube which goes off to the tap. There's other ways of doing it, of course. You can use a standard short flow pump, for example, or any kind of submersible pump. You can undo the lid here and drop the pump in. It's completely up to you. So we've got a full tank of water at 60 degrees, as we can see here. My temperature sensor measuring the air is coming down because my heater has been turned off. So you can see as we get past 35 now, that'll switch off and now the system has finished. Nice big tank of hot water that we can use for whatever we want. Hopefully that's explained a little bit more about how the Bobil heater system works. If you'd like one, head over to www.bobilvans.co.uk and pick one up.